listen, what's going on, try to get out in front of it. And that's something I've always tried to do, is stay out in front of everything.
Good.
And, sometimes you take a job, being open-minded, you're doing a job or something that maybe you don't want to do, but you gain a good client, and, that good client turns into other jobs, and those jobs turn into the jobs you want to do.
Originating from deep inside the Rocky Mountains, transported through the power of the internet, and arriving inside your tiny earbuds. It's the Appraiser Coach Podcast, helping appraisers increase their efficiency, quality, and make more money. Here's the guy who makes it his life's mission to create value for real estate appraisers nationwide. Your host and the Appraiser Coach, Dustin Harris.
And welcome back to the program, everybody. Dustin Harris hanging out with you once again. Boy, it's been a while, but today we've got another Appraiser Stories coming up. Can't wait to introduce you to a good friend of mine. First, want to pause here and remind you we are sponsored by three great companies. Of course, Working RE Magazine is where I check, pretty much every day in my inbox, but about three times a week, I get a great email from them and learn a little bit more about my profession, the appraisal profession. It's workingre.com. Again, workingre.com. DataMaster, of course, saving about 45 minutes per report because it imports data for you automatically, folks. That's technology at work for you. Check them out, datamasterusa.com, Datamaster or Datamaster, however you want to say it, USA.com. Finally, we're sponsored by Alamode. Alamode software is the software I've been using for over 2 decades. They've been helping appraisers for over 3 decades, over 30 years, helping them to do more. Check them out. Go to alamode.com or pick up the phone and call them at 800-ALAMODE. Well, folks, every so often we have what we call Appraiser Stories. And Appraiser Stories are your opportunity as a listener to get to know one of your colleagues, one of your peers across the nation. And I'm pleased to have a good friend of mine on today. His name is Jarrett, and he's from Kentucky-ish area. Jarrett, welcome to the program.
Hey, how you doing? I am very much from Kentucky. So
I say ish because you cover more than one state, right?
Yeah, we're pretty close to southern Indiana. So it's we do a lot of work in Louisville, and then right across the river from Louisville is essentially Louisville in Indiana. So we do a lot of work there. It always made sense to me. If I'm going to be here, why not go there? So
very good. Yeah, I cover 2 states, kind of 3 if they twist my arm hard enough, but mostly 2 states. So I feel you. I know what goes on there. Tell us a little bit about yourself. For those of you who don't, those listeners obviously who don't know you, just take a moment and just tell me a little bit about your background and what brings you here to Appraiser Stories today.
Oh, so yeah, I grew up on a farm in Kentucky, so nothing too extraordinary there. My mom, I guess what got me in the appraisal business was my mom actually started a mortgage company back in the late 90s. And I went to work for her as a loan officer. So, I've done all 3 facets in the real estate world. I've been a loan officer, I'm a realtor, and an appraiser. Yeah, figure that out. But growing up on the farm, I loved to be outside. I was used to being outside. And as a loan officer at a mortgage company, you're not outside. Mm-hmm. And so, I'm a pretty charismatic person, got to know an appraiser. And he said, hey, why don't you come work for me as a trainee? And, that was nearly 19 or 20 years ago.
Wow. So you've been doing this a long time, man. Always the same area?
Yeah, pretty much. My apprenticeship was a train wreck, to say it lightly. But yeah, I live in a little town called Elizabethtown, which is about 45 minutes south of Louisville. It was right off I-65. And so when I worked for my first supervisor or mentor, if you will, I signed a non-compete with him. And so we actually moved to Louisville and worked, I was up there for almost 5 years working and started building my business up there.
Gotcha. Okay. So you work a little bit of both urban and rural then?
Yeah, I do.
What do you prefer?
I like the drive in the country better. Mm-hmm. But, I get up in the city and the data, as you would say it on your podcast, is a lot easier. Mm-hmm. We got a certain part of how do you say this? Lower income areas we go to. That's a pretty difficult place to appraise because you get into some stuff. It's block by block. It's not necessarily neighborhood by neighborhood. You can Main Street. Splits apart that area. North and South Main Street's a big difference. And so you get into some of those areas. It's pretty difficult. But I probably like my suburbia stuff the best, just because to me it's the easiest.
Sure.
Houses are all the same for the most part. The lots of comps, lots of data to sort through.
We like easy. We like data. We like easy.
Yeah, everybody. It's funny, and as an appraiser, you can appreciate this. Everybody's like, "Oh, I bet you love looking at those great big houses. They're so pretty." And I'm like, "Man, give me 1,000 square foot, 3-bedroom, 1 bath on a slab."
I have to tell you though, I do kind of enjoy doing the luxury things just because it's interesting to me. And to be quite honest with you, I don't do a whole lot on the flip side. It's more about the inspection for me. So it's the easy part. So it is kind of enjoyable.
Sure. We do it all. We're not quite as big as Precision Appraisals, but
You're getting there, right?
Working on it, of course.
So tell me a little bit about wearing these two hats then. Obviously, you're not the only appraiser/realtor out there. Has that been a difficult balance over the years?
Most people will tell you to do something well. And I'm pretty stubborn and bullheaded, and I don't mind the work. We've done both pretty well, but I have a lot of help. So I think, if you were an agent and an appraiser and then you did everything yourself, it would be very hard to do. But my wife works with me on the real estate side, and she is a much better communicator, as most women are, than I am. And as doing appraisals, paperwork is easy, because that's what we do. Essentially, we shuffle paperwork. And so, we've been able to balance each other out, and I help her a lot on that end. And she deals with the people during the day when I'm not doing appraisals. So, it's a system, essentially, and the system works out pretty well. Working with your spouse is incredibly difficult, as most of us know.
Well, that was going to be my next question. Of course, she's not going to listen to this, so you can be completely honest here.
No, I'm sure she won't hear this at all.
But talk to me a little bit about that, because that can be a challenge, not just, obviously on the realtor/appraiser side, but a lot of appraisers work together with their spouse as well. Do you find that to be a challenge? And what advice would you give for other husband and wife team?
Oh, short memory. That's a big one. We struggle, and at one point she wanted me to get out of the real estate business, and at one point I was ready, just working together. But at the end of the day, it's I tell her all the time, nobody's going to mind your business like you will, And so when we look at things and we kind of team up as essentially partners in the real estate business, I'm not going to look after her stuff. I'm going to look after her stuff closer and more intently than anybody else will.
Sure. You got skin in the game, right?
Yeah. It affects both of us. If you got an assistant that makes X amount of dollars a deal or X amount of dollars an hour, as long as they get the paycheck, they don't care,
Oh, yeah.
And so, patience, I don't tell her what to do. We just kind of, divide and conquer. Recently we have a 8:00 business morning every morning. And it's not like, this big, long, drawn out thing. We just go over what we got going on. If we need to do anything, who we need to talk to, what's happening. Our business meetings, I think our business meeting this morning maybe went 3 minutes. And it's just knowing who's on first.
Yeah.
Essentially. And so we do that, and it works well.
Do you find you're able to separate? I've talked to a lot of other appraisers that say, I just have to separate work and pleasure, as you may say. In other words, we may work together through the day, but at night we can't really talk about business. I know others that do the exact opposite of that. They go on a date Friday night, and what do they talk about? Their business.
Sure.
What are your thoughts?
It's whatever works for you. Everybody's different. It's like I got a relatively successful appraisal business, and then you go out and do appraisal inspections all day, and she's like, "Hey, I want you to go with me to look at houses when you get back," and she'll normally schedule our appointments in the evening when I'm done doing appraisals. You go out and you see just a dozen houses in a day between showing 6 houses or 7 houses and doing appraisals all that day, and it wears you out. Where she only gets half of that essentially. And so she likes to talk about real estate a lot, and I get wore out with it, but at the same time, it's something we both enjoy doing. And so it's common ground for us. And we've been married it'll be 19 years in
Wow.
July. So, it's 19 years into it, you better have some common ground or you're in trouble. And so we both enjoy it. We like to travel. So, we always, when we're done, we're done. So when we get away from here, we get away from here.
Good. I love that.
Recharge.
Yeah, that's it. That's the key word right there, recharge. I'll never forget the day I came home, my wife said, "Good news, I got tickets to the home show this weekend." I was like, "Do you know what I do for a living, babe?"
It's like watching HGTV, man. I just want to stream at the TV when I watch HGTV. You know.
Oh. All right, my friend. You've been doing this long enough that you've got to have a story or two. Tell me one of the most disturbing or scary encounters you've had as an appraiser.
I'll give you two. I go disturbing and scary.
Okay, I love it.
So in the real estate downturn, or the Great Recession, or what they call it, I did a ton of REO work. And so I was in Louisville, and I was in this house, and so REO properties don't have lights on. So I'm in a basement, you know, old creepy old house anyway.
I can imagine.
And so I'm in this, old creepy house, no lights on, creepy basement, chopped up, walls everywhere. So I'm walking through this basement. I'm like, it's like you're going through it. I'm like, somebody's looking at me. You ever get that feeling?
Oh yeah.
And so, I caught them outside of my eyes. So I'm a firm Second Amendment, believer here.
Okay.
And I'm from
Fair
Kentucky.
Enough said.
I'm from Kentucky. And so
You're not alone.
I'm about ready to draw down on this person that I see. And it was a puzzle of a person's face.
Oh my
that
God.
glued to the wall. Dude, that freaked me out.
It almost was a puzzle with a hole in it.
Or near it.
Love it.
Scary was probably when I broke my arm. I think I alluded to that on Facebook a little bit.
Share the story. Obviously, not everybody follows that same page.
Yeah, so it was 2015 November actually. I was doing an FHA appraisal and getting ready for my attic picture, and I had one of the cheap version of the Little Giant ladder. And
I love how he distinguishes not the Little Giant, the cheap version.
Cheap version, right? Because it weighed you almost needed a 3/4 ton pickup truck to haul that 400
right.
that 4-foot ladder in because it was so heavy. And so I had gotten the bright ideal, like I said yesterday, not one of my finer ideals, but you could pull the insert out, and so essentially, it's like 2 foot wide, top to bottom, little narrow 3-step ladder. And I had almost fell off of it before, but no big deal. But anyway, I got it out, and I was in a hurry and went to open the crawl space up. And instead of taking my time and taking two trips up to the ladder to get the crawl space open, because sometimes you get in an awkward position to get that stupid hole open. And when I got to the top of it, and like I said, I didn't go back. I took my tablet with me, and I was in a hurry, and I got in that awkward position. Well, I came off of it a lot faster than I got on it. And
how high up were you?
About 4 feet. About 4 feet on top of my 4-foot ladder. And so I fell, of course, and landed on my elbow, and so I shattered my elbow into 3 pieces. And I broke my radial and ulna out. I think it was my radial bone that come out of the arm. Of course, I was in a vacant house, and it was, it was a bad day. It was a bad day. I wasn't very pleasant to be around for a little while, needless to say. And so, it's some other stuff happened. I messed with my arm and kind of screwed around and dropped my arm, essentially, and the bone went back up in my arm. And like I said yesterday, that's a world I heard I wouldn't put on anybody right there. And it's funny. It's funny. So so I'm a bigger guy. I'm a broad-shouldered guy, if you will. And I called the ambulance or 911, and they sent the ambulance after me. And these two girls are going to pick me up, and they might have weighed 160 pounds between the two of them.
Right.
Like, we're going to pick you up, sir. And I'm like, you're going to drop me is what you're going to do, and you're really going to get it. So I said, just get out of my way. I'm not in a very good mood. I'll meet you in the ambulance. And so I got up and, anyway.
See, I know you, Jarrett, and I can completely see this happening. This is in Technicolor for me.
So it's it was a bad day, and so I ended up having about a 6 or 7 hour surgery the next day. My arm back together. They told Valerie that it would be a relatively short and simple surgery, but I was on the table for 6 or 7 hours.
Wow.
And it's it's one of those deals where my business wasn't quite where I wanted it then. And so I had to get back.
You couldn't call in sick to the boss and say, "Oh yeah, by the way, I want workers' comp."
No, it's funny. It's funny. The amount of attorneys that called me wanting me to sue my employer was amazing.
You should have just taken them up on it. Okay, fine. Let's do it. Let's see how much I can get out of myself.
Right. So my scheduler, she was kind of laughing after it all happened because I had a busy day that day, and I had like one more appointment to get to, and this lady's like, so Tasha calls and she's like, "Hey, the appraiser fell. He broke his arm. He's in the hospital." And she's like, "Well, can he come to do my house when he's done at the hospital?" And she's like, ma'am, he's like going to be there for the night and he's got surgery tomorrow. So I don't think he's going to quite make it today. But we can all relate to that. You know, it's
because she already vacuumed her floors.
I know, right? She cleaned up for me, you know, but yeah, so, you know.
All right, man, humorous story. Tell me something funny. I mean, that was kind of. Now we can look back on it, right? It probably wasn't funny at the time.
Funny story. Oh, I got you one. So I go to a lot of rural properties out in the country. And so I show up to this house. You know, I'm counting my addresses down on my mailboxes like we all do going down to her house. And I pull up this house, pretty nice house, sits right on the road. Knock on the door, little old lady meets me. Say, you know, here to do an appraisal, you know, blah, 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 you know, the spiel you give. She kind of looks at me funny. She's like, well, come in. I'm like, okay. So I'm standing on, you know, I'm essentially standing at the foyer and we're talking. And she's like, now, why are you here? I'm like, the bank ordered an appraisal, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, she looks at me puzzled and she kind of like leaves me alone for a minute. And she's like, what bank? And so I tell her what the bank was. And she goes, honey, I don't bank there. Okay. So I'm in, this lady has let me in her house to do an appraisal. I'm in the wrong house, you know, and we laughed about it, but she's like, where are you trying to go? And I said, you know, told her address. She goes, you see that dirt road behind that building through those trees? That's where you need to go.
Right.
So
Right.
That was pretty funny.
You've probably heard the story, Jarrett. I did a full appraisal, got paid for it. This is back when we used to get COD. Got paid for it, got back out to my car. I started writing down the check number so that I could send it in to the accounting, and looked at the address, and it didn't match the address that I should have been there. I mean, I had done I was there 30 minutes, and she gave me money.
That's crazy. You know, what do you do? I mean, you know, did you keep your money, go do the right house?
Right. No, exactly. Yeah,
we
got paid twice for that one.
Send her a report. There you go.
No, you know, when I walked back, I said, the first thing I said when she opened the door, I said, you really need to be more careful about who you give money to. And you probably ought to be more careful about who you let in your house. And she looks at me dumbfounded, and I said, I was at the wrong place. I handed back the check, and she goes, well, I just thought my husband had ordered it. I thought, man, the things we could get away with if you just act confident, right? No,
it's crazy. People are way too, maybe not anymore, but, you know, back then, I mean, they were just like, yeah, you know, come on. I mean, it was, man, it had to be 15 years ago. So a lot's changed in 15 years.
Yeah. It's been about 15 since I did that as well. We're talking with Jarrett Hardesty. He is an appraiser out of Kentucky, a great guy to get to know. We're going to pause here and talk a little bit about our sponsors. And when we get back, we're going to ask for a little advice from Mr. Jarrett. I want to pause here and remind you that we're sponsored by three great companies. Of course, Alamode is the company that I've been using for over 20 years. And there's a reason, folks. I've looked at other software. There's some great software out there. There's some great features that each one of them have. When it comes down to it, folks, I'm a man of numbers. I look at the time, I look at the savings, I look at the investment, and I keep going back to Alamode. Folks, if you're with any other company, check out Alamode. Pick up the phone. Here's an interesting challenge for you. Pick up the phone, call them, say, hey, I'm with XYZ software. What can you do that they can't? I promise you that will be an interesting conversation to have. It's alamode.com. or 800-ALAMODE. DataMaster, of course, is a great company, a little company out of Utah, but a big company because they have a far reach. This company, I say it's little because it was started by appraisers and is still run by appraisers. Great little company with great people to get to know, and a company who cares about helping appraisers to do more. Another great value for you, technology working for you. It will save you about 45 minutes per report. Now, folks, I told you I was a guy of numbers. Do the numbers. I don't know what your volume is, but that is a huge, huge savings if they are in your area. Check them out by going to datamasterusa.com. Check out their coverage area. If they cover your area, folks, what are you waiting for? It's datamasterusa.com. Finally, we are sponsored, of course, by Working RE Magazine. Working RE is the company that I look for their emails every week. Probably a couple times a week, I get an email from them with a great article or great information or great products that they sponsor through Working RE as well. Folks, it's one of those things. I look at their email and sometimes I click on it, sometimes I don't. When I don't, it's not a bother. I move on. When I do, it's great information. And it can be yours as well for free. WorkingRE.com is where you go to sign up for their free newsletter. Again, it's WorkingRE.com. And welcome back to the program, everybody. Another Appraiser Stories for you today. I'm on with my good friend Jarrett Hardesty. He is out of the Midwest. and great guy to get to know. Welcome back to the program, Jarrett. Appreciate you doing this today.
Yeah, no problem.
You've been doing this long enough that I feel very confident asking this next question. There's lots of listeners, of course, appraisers all over the nation. Talk to me a little bit about your biggest failure in life, maybe in business, in life in general, and maybe what you learned from that to experience.
Well, it's hey, look at me, I'm an idiot. I would say early on in my appraisal career, I was just not, if you want to relate it to that, it's probably not investing in myself like I should have. We get busy doing the job, but we don't get busy in improving ourselves. And so, it's, and me especially, I mean, you know this about me, I'm not an overly detailed person when it comes to doing certain things that you've been asking me to do for a while now. But,
Jarrett and I have done a little coaching together.
So yeah, so it, it's hard. So you lose focus of what's important, and really what out of everything, what's important is yourself. Taking care of yourself, investing in yourself, and investing in your family. And when you're starting out as an appraiser, it's hard. As an appraiser, starting out is tough. Going through your apprenticeship and just trying to build a business and make a reputation for yourself. Mm-hmm. And for me, that's probably me just losing focus of what was important. It's not being an appraiser. It's just investing in me and investing in my family.
Right.
We only got so much time, and we don't get it back.
That's such great advice. And, it's something we talk about here a lot. We need to refocus and remember why it is that we did this to begin with. And most of us, at least on some level, and some of us fell into this, and there's other reasons, there's other backstories, but when it really comes down to it, people like to be their own boss because they like to be in control. They like to have the power to make decisions for themselves. And yet so many of us have our head down, and we're driving and working and doing, and we forget to pull back up and say, why am I doing this again?
I always say I work half days. You pick which half, the first half or the second half.
I love it. That's great. So, biggest success, Jarrett?
No, probably being in the real estate business and staying married for 19 years.
I actually had that come to my head. Whatever you would have said, I would have said, well, I'll give you another one.
Yeah,
we laugh about that, but that is huge. It really is.
Yeah, I always joked early on in our marriage. I'm like, I'm getting divorced. I'm like, how do you know you're getting divorced? I'm like, because I'm in the real estate business, and everybody in the real estate business gets divorced.
They do, right? Yeah. I
don't know why that is, but I mean, you look at the amount of people. But Valerie's great. She stood by me when she shouldn't have, and I would say vice versa. But I would say just building this business and being self-employed and everything we're doing, and at the end of the day, still standing next to her is probably my biggest accomplishment.
Well, it's interesting, and the listeners won't maybe appreciate this like I do, but I've seen some of the videos that you guys do. And just, for the listener's sake, on the real estate side, the sales side, these guys do videos together, and which is interesting to me, Jarrett. I have to say something. It's interesting about these videos is, when you and I talk, let's just put it on the table. You talk a lot, right? You're not shy. You're extroverted. You're a fun guy. You're a sociable guy. When you're on those videos, you sit back and you let her take the lead, and she is awesome. And you guys, the dynamic that you guys have, just watching it, you can tell that there's a lot of history there, and you can tell there's a lot of respect for one another.
Yeah, it's it's funny is when she got into the real estate business. So she was a stay-at-home mom, and essentially with our kids while they were younger. And it was cool, and we were able to do that, and it wasn't always easy. But then she said, I'm on a career, essentially, I want to get a career. And so she's like, well, I really don't care what you do, just find something that makes you happy.
I love it.
And then she was like, I'm gonna get in the real estate business because I'm just gonna work with you. And I was like, oh my God.
No.
All right. And so, it's been struggles at times, like I said earlier, but it's I've just backed off and wanted to see her grow, because at the end of the day, she's not an appraiser, she's a real estate agent. And we drive a lot, and we put ourselves in situations that most normal professionals don't do just because of what we do. And so I've backed off on real estate because, who knows, I might not come home one day. And if I don't come home, I want her to be able to survive without me.
Right.
And so when it comes to real estate stuff, that is what, I want her to take that lead, not me. I'm helping her, not the other way around.
Very cool. I think that's a great attitude. It's got to be a key to success there too. Jarrett, where do you see this going? Real estate appraisal, valuation, professionals moving forward, your business, next 3 to 5 years, project for me.
Wow, that's tough. This whole virus thing is fundamentally changed the way that we will do business going forward. I fully believe that. I think you're going to see a lot more of these, whether it's a homeowner assisted appraisal or desktop valuations or all that. I mean, it's coming. Get over it. I think if you're open-minded about it, you'll be fine. I think if you dig your boots in and say, I'm only going to do a full 1004, by God, you'll probably be okay, but you're going to miss the boat and get left behind. Mm-hmm. If I was giving advice to another appraiser, I would just say, be very open-minded. Listen, what's going on? Try to get out in front of it. And that's something I've always tried to do, is stay out in front of everything. Good. And, sometimes you take a job, being open-minded, you do a job or something that maybe you don't want to do, but you gain a good client, and, that good client turns into other jobs, and those jobs turn into the jobs you want to do. But, if you're not open-minded, you miss the boat on that stuff.
Love it. Great advice. Words of wisdom there. Should we do a lightning round, my friend?
Bring it.
All right. Inside out or outside in?
Inside out.
Really? Mm-hmm. All right. I said lightning round, so I'm not going to dig in. Tape, roller, or laser?
Laser.
All right. Tablet computer or clipboard and pen?
Phone.
All right. That works. That's a tablet computer.
Yeah, it's a computer with a phone on
it. Appraisal software?
Total. Alamode.
All right. Favorite thing to do when you're not appraising?
Either fishing or working on my old truck.
Love it. And your one goal for this year, my friend?
Go trout fishing with Dustin Harris.
I love it. Let's make it happen. Jarrett Hardesty, thank you so much, my friend. You're a good friend. This has been a great time together. I appreciate you joining me, my friend. Thank you.
No worries.
We've been talking with Jarrett. Of course, this is Appraiser Stories. Folks, we would love to have you be a part of Appraiser Stories. I'm guessing that if we asked you, in fact, I'm going to unmute you for a second, Jarrett. How tough was that? Now, you're extroverted, granted, and most people aren't, but was that hard?
No, I've been thinking about it all day. I'll just be real honest with you, because I'm like, public speaking is not my thing. I will talk to anybody about anything, but you put me in front of a group and I just want to crawl and help. And so, essentially, I'm like, a lot of people are going to be listening to this, and I don't want to sound like a complete idiot. And so, the pressure was there, but it wasn't bad.
Awesome. I appreciate it, man. Well, we'll wait for the comments to see if you were a complete idiot or not. Folks, we would love to have you join us if you're interested in being on the Appraiser Show. We'll make it easy, I promise. Just give me a quick shout out. The coach at theappraisercoach.com. One more time, it's the coach at theappraisercoach.com. We will catch you guys later. Thanks. Bye-bye.
You've been listening to the Appraiser Coach podcast with Dustin Harris. If you like what you hear, please give us a 5-star rating and post a short review on iTunes. For more in-depth insider information on how you can make more money as a real estate appraiser, visit theappraisercoach.com and sign up for the All-Star team today. Thanks for joining us. And now, get out there and create some value.